Hello and welcome to marketing91.com. In this video, we are going to cover the topic on elasticity of demand part 2. Let's look at the methods for measuring elasticity of demand. There are three methods. First, total revenue or total outlay method. Second, proportionate or percentage method. Third, point method or geometric method. Let's look at each one of them briefly, starting with total revenue or total outlay method. A commodity's elasticity of demand is calculated by measuring the effect of a certain change in its price on the total expenditure, which is the outlay. Total outlay refers to a customer's total expenses on the purchase of a commodity. Thus, total outlay is equal to quantity purchased into price of commodity. Moving further, this method can be illustrated as follows. First, unitary demand elasticity. It occurs when the total outlay does not change with the change in a commodity's price. If the price falls, the consumer will increase the quantity of consumption such that the total outlay on the commodity remains the same and vice versa. Moving on, relatively elastic demand or more than elastic demand. It occurs when a consumer's total outlay on the consumption of a particular commodity increases with a fall in its price and vice versa. And finally, relatively inelastic demand or less than elastic demand. It occurs when a consumer's total outlay on the consumption of a particular commodity increases with an increase in its price and vice versa. Moving further. Second, proportionate or percentage method. This method improves the overall outlay method, which does not provide a numerical measurement of the elasticity of demand. Thus, in this case, the price elasticity of demand is equal to change in the quantity demanded upon quantity into price divided by the change in price. Moving on to the point method or geometric method. A particular point is decided on a straight line demand curve to measure the elasticity of demand. The demand in the lower part of the demand curve is divided by that in the upper part of the curve. Thus, price elasticity of demand in this case is equal to lower segment divided by upper segment. If the lower segment is equal to upper segment, demand has unitary elasticity. If the lower segment is greater than the upper segment, demand has more than unitary elasticity. And finally, lower segment less than upper segment, demand has less than unitary elasticity. Moving on to the determinants of elasticity of demand. First, the nature of commodity. In this case, demand of necessity good is inelastic, demand of comfort good is elastic, and demand of luxurious goods is highly elastic. Moving on to substitute goods. If a close substitute for a commodity is available in the market, its demand will be elastic. If a close substitute for a commodity is not available in the market, its demand will be inelastic. Third, different uses of commodity. If a commodity can be put to several uses, its demand will be elastic. Whereas, if a commodity can be used only for few purposes, its demand will be less elastic or inelastic. Moving on to the fourth, the price of a commodity. Commodities that are priced very high or very low have relatively inelastic demand. Moving on, demand for moderately priced good tends to be elastic. Moving on to the fifth, effect of nature and habits of commerce. Demand for commodities of habit is generally inelastic as consumer purchases these irrespective of higher price. Moving on to the sixth, distribution of wealth. If wealth distribution is unequal in society, demand for commodities will be less elastic because it divides society into rich and poor. If wealth distribution is equal, demand for commodities will be elastic. Moving on to the seventh, demand for complementary goods is inelastic. Moving on to the eighth, time effect. Commodities are inelastic in short run because substitution of one commodity by another is not very easy. Whereas in the long run, consumers may start to use substitute goods, making the demand of almost all commodity tends to be elastic. Moving on to the relationship between price elasticity and total revenue. Understanding the relationship between price elasticity of demand and total revenue helps firms in making pricing decisions. A firm's total revenue is given by the product of the price P and the quantity Q. Given below are the relationship between elasticity of demand, change in price, and the movements in total revenue and the reasons given below. Moving on to the relationship between elasticity of demand and the average and marginal revenues. Under imperfect competition, as a seller increases sales by lowering a product's price, the firm's average revenue and marginal revenue will fall. MR falls faster than AR and therefore the marginal revenue curve will lie below the average revenue curve. Going forward, when the AR and MR curve fall downward in a straight line, the MR curve lies halfway between the AR curve and the y-axis. The average revenue curve of a firm is the same as the demand curve of the consumer for the firm's product. Therefore, The demand elasticity at any point in the demand curve is the same as the demand elasticity at the given point on the firm's AR curve. Thus, elasticity of demand at C is equal to average revenue divided by average revenue minus marginal revenue. Moving forward, the table throws light on the elasticity of average revenue, marginal revenue, total revenue, and conclusion. So when the elasticity on average revenue is elastic, marginal revenue is positive and total revenue increases. And in the extreme case, when it is inelastic, MR is negative, TR decreases, thus marginal revenue is negative when demand is inelastic. Thank you.